What I'm about to share is the most shocking story from this war, I believe. Listen to these words. So, Agam Berger, who is, an essentially very famous hostage because she took care of the other hostages, she opened up about observing religious holidays and keeping Shabbat during her time in captivity. The most shocking thing was that a Hamas, official, gave her a prayer book in captivity. She says, "Last January, the terrorists brought us a prayer book they found in the field. They asked us what it was and then gave it to us. We used it throughout our captivity." She added, "They found all sorts of things the army had left behind and just brought them to us. They also showed us maps they had found, thinking we could help them. Of course, we couldn't." So just pause that for a second. You have a woman that is essentially, in hell, in Hamas captivity, dealing with constant, in tunnels, etc., moving probably constantly. And she has the wherewithal and the faith to practice Judaism, and she continues. She describes exactly what goes on there. Berger describes how she and the other female hostages observed Jewish holidays and tracked the calendar while being held captive. "We celebrated most of the holidays. At times, we had access to a radio, and sometimes we saw things on television that helped us track the date. We also had a foreign calendar," she said. "We missed both Hanukkah holidays, but we celebrated Passover, and I didn't eat chametz, which is leavened bread. I asked for cornmeal, and the captors brought it to me. Somehow they valued me more because I was religious." So the Hamas captors, these six savages, are at least cognizant of the fact that somebody is religious. Now, despite the fact that they're monsters, they see religion as a strength. They see the Jewish people being strong, being proud of who they are as a good thing. Meaning they look at it like in a good light when Jews are actually practicing their religion. She continued, "They said all of Judaism is a lie, but they preferred someone who believes in God over someone who doesn't. For them, there is no such thing as not believing in God." Now, again, these are terrorists. These are terrible, terrible monsters. But from their perspective, I think at least in part, they are doing this for a spiritual war, in a spiritual sense. And they would respect the Jewish people more in a way if they were, more religious and more orthodox. Berger also recalled how she kept Jewish fast days. "I observed Yom Kippur, Tanit Esther, which is the fast of Esther, Tisha B'Av, the ninth of Av, which is the day that the Jews were essentially surrounded. The temple was surrounded by the Romans. I asked God to give me a sign, and then by chance, I saw the date ninth of Av appear on television. From there, we counted until the actual day." Berger spoke about the importance of Shabbat in helping her maintain a sense of normalcy and faith despite her captivity. "I simply refused to light a fire on Shabbat. I didn't watch TV on Shabbat. There were Shabbatot there when I would even give up listening to the radio," she recounted. "At one point, they would bring us candles before Shabbat. We would listen to Galgalats and know when Shabbat had begun. I took it upon myself to keep Shabbat." Finally, Berger described the moment she realized her fellow captives had been released and when she learned that she too would soon be going home. So understand this. The captors brought her Shabbat candles. Now, again, these people are sick, psychotic individuals, but they brought her Shabbat candles because they respect religion. They actually do respect religion in a way, in their own sick way. Now, I'm obviously not saying that they're good at all. They're sick individuals. But the fact that they understand that Jews, when Jews are Orthodox and when Jews are keeping their religion and when Jews are biblical, they're much stronger is unbelievable. It's almost like you learn what to do, from what they respect. Meaning, if Israel would just be biblical, you know, act like a Jewish nation, act like it talks about in the Bible, you would have a much bigger impact on these terrorists, and perhaps we would be much more successful against them. She now recounts her leaving, basically being let go, learning that she would be released. They didn't let us watch the news for 2 weeks beforehand, so we wouldn't realize we were going home. She said, I was with Leary from the beginning, and the day before she was released, they told her to go film a video. She never came back until Tuesday, 2 days before I was freed. I didn't know they had been released. I kept asking when Leary was coming back. She added, on Tuesday, someone important came and told me I was going home and that my friends were already home. They prepared me for the fact that there would be a lot of people at the release ceremony. I saw the girls coming out in the video, and I still couldn't believe it would be like that. So she's recounting them, basically telling her that she's going to be released. Just unbelievable to see that a Hamas captor would have the, I guess, respect for Judaism in a sick, demented way, and give her, basically tools to practice her religion, and that she would again, go beyond, beyond herself to go and do that, fasting while in captivity, probably not a lot of food, or probably not such great food, and just unbelievable all around to hear that story. And then there's also been stories from in the past, Sapir Cohen, basically another Israeli hostage, that said Hamas told her the Jews are strong when they're, when the Jews are, when the Jews are religious, they're strong. Like when the Jews are unified and are basically biblical and are having Avas Yisrael, which is love for one another. They're incredibly strong, and maybe, just maybe, Israel should take a lesson from these savages and start to learn that they want us to teach them a lesson. They want us to go biblical in this war, and that's all around. That's not just keeping the commandments; it's keeping all the commandments. And a lot of the commandments in war say, "Listen, you basically teach the enemy that they can't hurt you. You teach the enemy that whatever they do, it's never going to work. And the only way you do that is with a very strong message." Um, and Israel should go ahead and do that. For more, subscribe to the channel. If you want to help us make more of these videos, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JewishUncensored. That's buymeacoffee.com/JewishUncensored. I'll leave that in the description below. Let me know what you think about this, and have a good one.